Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Government allocates over $6 million to this year's Emancipation Day and Eid celebrations. Reconstruction of the Endeavour SDMS Primary School commences. And an exclusive from the first ever CONCACAF Interactive Gold Cup. To our top story, the government has decided to allocate over $6 million to this year's Emancipation Day and Eid celebrations. The funding is expected to go a long way in assisting various groups with the staging of this year's cultural observances.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago has reaffirmed its commitment to the strengthening and continuance of cultural practices in the Twin Island Republic. On Thursday, during the post-cabinet news briefing, Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism, Dr. the Honourable Lincoln Douglas, and Minister of Communication, the Honourable Jamal Mohammed, spoke of Cabinet's decision to allocate funding to this year's Emancipation celebrations and Eid ul-Fitr observances. Dr. Douglas said the Cabinet will donate $3.38 million to a number of groups throughout Trinidad and Tobago to assist in Emancipation Day celebrations, which begin on Friday with the Emancipation Support Committee's Ledyasu Umawale Emancipation Village at the grandstand of the Queen's Park Savannah.
Of that, $2 million has gone to the Emancipation Support Committee, who have also received an additional $2 million from the Sport and Culture Fund in the Office of the Prime Minister. The National Action Cultural Committee has also received $1 million to carry on emancipation events for this year. In addition to those groups, we have 48 other groups throughout the country that has applied, and they have received over $300,000 in emancipation support. The government of Trinidad and Tobago believes that these festivals are critical to the development of the nation, that these cultural festivals, they represent the people who live here in Trinidad and Tobago. And in spite of ramblings of race and other kinds of things that you hear in other places, we are convinced that our survival as a nation is based on our diversity and the acceptance of that diversity that continues to foster the creativity of our people and our capacity to create cultural products that contribute to national development.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Communication spoke of Cabinet's decision to distribute close to $3 million to Islamic organizations and masjids across Trinidad and Tobago on the occasion of Eid 2013.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago has also decided to support masjids and jamaats throughout Trinidad and Tobago. For this holy month of Ramadan, each masjid in Trinidad and Tobago will be receiving $5,000 in cash, and then some of the leading organizations in Trinidad and Tobago on the occasion of Eid 2013 will be receiving substantial donations from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, including the Anjuman Sunnatul Jamaat Association, ASJA, the Trinidad Muslim League, TML, the Takviyatul Islamic Association, TIA, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, the Anjuman Ahmadiyya Ishat-e-Islam, the Islamic Missionaries Guild, the Darul Ulum, the Islamic Resource Society, the Muslim Credit Union, the Islamic Relief Center, the Barakpur Islamic Center, the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah Institute, the Al-Markaz Al-Ihsan, the Islamic Ladies Social and Cultural Association, and the Islamic Dawah Movement. All of these organizations will receive funding totaling close to $3 million this year on behalf of the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
The Honourable Minister also revealed that Eid ul-Fitr will be celebrated as a public holiday on August 9th, in accordance with Section 3.1 of the Public Holidays and Festivals Act, Chapter 1905. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Education Minister Dr. the Honourable Tim Gopi Singh says his ministry will continue to provide new schools and education centres for the nation's children. He was speaking at the commencement of reconstruction ceremony of the Endeavour SDMS Primary School. The minister says education remains the answer to building long-lasting communities.
Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh breaking the ground for the new Monroe Road SDMS Primary School. The school, which will house over 270 pupils, will serve the Bedroquelle area. The Education Minister says the construction of the school is just part of the drive the ministry is on throughout the country in providing educational spaces for all students. He describes this as being part of the transformation of the education sector in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is important for me as Minister of Education to indicate to the national community the work that we have been doing just in infrastructure, one aspect of education in the country. Amongst many, many other areas, improvement in academic performance, better school-based management, the laptop issue, a whole heap of things we have been doing in education. We built 11 primary, we're doing 13 more, and we have 47 more on the drawing board.
While the Mahasabha is just one of the many denominational boards the ministry works with, Minister Gopi Singh commended the board for their contribution to education.
We may not fully grasp the tremendous impact this has had for our development as a community in central Trinidad, the Mahasabha coming into education 60 years ago, and the wider society and nation as a whole. But as you all heard, the Mahasabha schools, no matter how weak the infrastructure was, but the dedication they produced, a high degree of professionals throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago.
To Minister Gopi Singh, ensuring these facilities are provided across the country speaks to the commitment the ministry has to developing communities through education.
When we educate our children in our communities, however rural they may be, and there is no rural community now, and it is the wish of this government to ensure that all communities are developed to the same level of high economic development and physical and infrastructural development. But we must ensure that we remain to develop this community. It is said, ladies and gentlemen, that if you really want to develop a country, then empower its communities with schools and education and educate its citizens there.
Minister Gopi Singh says within the past 3 years, over 80 early childhood education centres have been constructed, 11 secondary schools were completed, while 47 primary schools are on the cards. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, government to revitalize the rice industry. Stay with us. Plans to revitalize the rice industry in Trinidad and Tobago have been revealed by the Ministry of Food Production. Despite the crop's decline, the ministry believes it is possible to make the local production of the crop feasible once again. Minister of Food Production, Senator the Honorable Devant Maharaj, explains that being an important staple in this country, the decline of the local rice industry has contributed significantly to the food import bill.
The industry sources reveal that our nation moved from having 6,000 rice farmers producing 30% of the nation's rice supply to only approximately 20 rice farmers producing less than 5% of the nation's rice requirements. So we moved from 6,000 to 20, almost a total decimation of the rice farmers.
Minister Maharaj says it is due to this decline and its impact on the food import bill that through his ministry's Rice Industry Action Plan, several steps have been taken to revitalize the industry.
A Rice Development and Coordinating Committee comprising the major stakeholders in the industry was established. Modernizing the production technologies using rice cultivation, the Ministry of Food Production implemented fully mechanized rice farming on 300 acres of land in the Plumita district via the Commercial Farm Program. We have facilitated private sector investment in acquiring relevant state-of-the-art rice production machinery, inclusive of mechanical combined harvesters, so as to provide mechanized production services to growers who lack machinery but are desirous of cultivating rice. Additionally, the private sector was invited to develop 1,500 acres of land for rice production in the River area. The Ministry of Food Production provides ongoing training to local rice farmers. As new technologies are developed in the rice industry, we must ensure that our farmers remain up to date.
Minister Maharaj goes on to say approximately 55 rice farmers have been assisted in preparing more than 550 acres of land. He explains that in an effort to continue supporting the rice farmers, a few other measures have been embarked upon by the ministry.
Facilitating the purchase of certified commercial seeds by the private sector from Guyana for local farmers for the 2013-2014 crop, purchasing 1 new state-of-the-art rice combine harvesters to support the harvesting of the additional rice paddy to be produced within the next year by small to medium farmers. Finalizing a public-private sector partnership arrangement for the establishment of a modern state-of-the-art rice mill with parboiling facility with the capacity to mill 40 tons of paddy per annum. Finalizing a draft strategic plan for the development of the rice industry 2012 to 2022 with technical support from the Inter-American Institute for Technical Cooperation Agriculture. In terms of infrastructure, by the end of the fiscal year, the Ministry of Food Production intends to complete the second phase of the land preparation for rice lands, which represents approximately close to 800 acres of land. Therefore, by September 2013, the Ministry of Food Production will have assisted rice farmers in the preparation of close to 1,400 acres of land.
The Food Production Minister insists that results are already being reaped from the strategic measures taken by the government to revitalize the industry.
The Central Bank Review of the Economy 2012 indicates that rice production for the period October 2011 to June 2012 totaled 2,258 metric tons, a 4.2% increase over the 2,168 metric tons of the corresponding period last year. And as more of the revitalizing initiatives come on stream, the Ministry of Food Production expects even more significant growth. Trinidad and Tobago stands to save close to over $100 million annually.
In other news, residents along Bonaventure Road and Guacara Tabakit Road now have a new way home as the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure has constructed the new Bailey Bridge, which connects the two main arteries. The bridge now serves as a link to Bonaventure Road from the Guacara Tabakit Road. Commuters will now cut their traveling time by as much as 1/3. A release from the ministry said the bridge was installed using in-house labor from the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, as the employees from the bridge's branch south spearheaded the project. Prior to the installation of the bridge, commuters would have had to venture on a journey that usually took upwards of half an hour, especially during peak periods. The ministry noted that Councillor of the Couva Tabakit Talpara Regional Corporation, the late Faraz Ali, provided invaluable assistance on behalf of the Ministry of Local Government as he obtained material as well as procured a location for a stockpile in which the bridge parts and material were stored. When we come back, Trini in the CONCACAF Interactive Gold Cup. Stay with us. In Texas, while the United States and Panama were winning both their semi-final matches to advance to the 2013 Gold Cup final, carded on Sunday, another CONCACAF final was taking place. The first ever CONCACAF Interactive Gold Cup began with over 5,000 applicants from all over the CONCACAF region, competing in EA Sports FIFA 2013. The top 12 players, which included a Trinbagonian, they were flown to Dallas for a final round clash. News 4's Wayne Cunningham caught up with the Trini finalists and files this report.
News 4 Sports at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Courtesy the Ministry of Sports and the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
The Soca Warriors 2013 Gold Cup campaign has come to an end, but Trinidad and Tobago still has a presence here in Dallas at the semi-finals. He's Carlin Garcia, a W Connection fan, and he will be participating in the CONCACAF Interactive Gold Cup as one of the 12 finalists. Interactive gaming is a popular pastime with millions playing worldwide. Carlin Garcia is one of the finalists in the CONCACAF Interactive Gold Cup 2013. He is one of 12 from over 5,000 participants. Carlin, tell us, how did you reach here? What did you have to go through to reach to Dallas?
Well, there was an online qualifying period, 1 month from the 1st of April to the end of April. And FIFA and CONCACAF tabulated the results. The top players in each country in CONCACAF, well, those made up the top 12.
All right. Tell us, how does it feel to represent Trinidad and Tobago at this tournament?
Well, to be honest, Wayne, it feels quite good. I think I have as good a chance as any, and I think all of Trinidad would be hoping that I exact some measure of revenge against Mexico.
All right, and you're a true football fan from Trinidad and Tobago. I see you at all the games and so forth, and you backed up with connection. Tell me what you thought about Trinidad and Tobago's performance throughout the Gold Cup.
I think that the coach showed that he's a serious man. He made some tough decisions, even in the game against Mexico, where he perhaps shown that he didn't have as much faith as I suppose, may have had in his bench. So he stuck with the starting 11 for up to I think it was the 87th minute. But I think the boys have a very good future ahead. I think the coach made a very good start. I think the Gold Cup was very promising.
Getting back to your stuff now, this interactive gaming thing, I don't know much about it. Tell me how you all set up games, how long games are, and all that.
Well, usually we play online, so you can play against anybody from any country in the world, from the comfort of your living room. So we play at 6 minutes a half. Most teams play with, Real Madrid, they come with the Brazils, they get some Manchester Cities, and it is tremendously competitive. Trinidad has a very, very strong FIFA following, online following, and there are tournaments often every couple of months all over the country.
I heard a very interesting comment from one of the fans here that the players chosen saying, like, if you pick a Ronaldo, the skill set of a Ronaldo will be transferred onto the gaming player that you have on the screen. Is that true?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, a lot of players choose Real Madrid so they can harness the power of Ronaldo. The speed, the strength, the skill.
So if you pick like a Trinidad and Tobago team, you'll harness the power, say, of a Kenwin Jones.
You could harness the power of Kenwin Jones at Stoke, because unfortunately FIFA does not have Trinidad and Tobago as a national team in the game.
Well, I think after your success here, we'll have to fix that. Tell us what you're looking forward to in the next couple of days.
To be quite honest, I'm looking to just have a good time. I'm looking to represent Trinidad and Tobago well. And I'm looking to go as far as I can in the competition. If that is second round, that is quarterfinal, semi-final, final, so be it. Just looking to have a good time.
All right, thanks a lot, Carlin. Wayne Cunningham here in Dallas with Carlin Garcia, interactive soca warrior, reporting for News 4 Sports.
News 4 Sports at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Courtesy the Ministry of Sports and the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, we got word from Wayne Cunningham that Carlin Garcia placed respectively in the CONCACAF Interactive World Cup Finals. More news after this. Waterloo residents can now enjoy longer periods of recreational activities with the installation of lights at a recreational ground in the area.
195 recreation grounds across Trinidad and Tobago have been properly lit by the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission through the Public Lighting Program, which is a collaborative effort between TNTEC and the Ministry of Public Utilities. On Wednesday, the commissioning of lights at the Mulchan Suchan Recreation Ground saw the lighting program, which began in 2005, reach the milestone figure. Within the past 3 years, the program has been beefed up as there is now the consistent and continual lighting of public spaces. Delivering the feature address on behalf of Minister of Public Utilities, the Honourable Nizam Bashk, technical advisor to the Minister of Public Utilities, Terence Duran, spoke of the importance of public lighting at recreation grounds.
The lighting of a recreation ground may seem like a simple thing, but I urge you to consider that if properly used and consistently lit, grounds can have a far-reaching and diverse impact on the communities that surround them. We all know of little Suri Sukdev, who was almost kidnapped right in this area. Because of the watchfulness of you, the residents of this community, and your willingness to get involved, Suri's kidnapper was not successful. That almost tragic occurrence and other incidents of criminal activity in the area led to a public outcry for a number of interventions in the community, including lights on this ground. So it gives me great pleasure this evening to officially deliver these long-awaited lights to you. the residents of Waterloo, Carpachama, and neighboring communities.
He said the lights will serve as a deterrent to those who wished to engage in illegal activities.
You see, criminals are cowards who prey upon the weak and the defenseless under the cover of darkness. It is my hope that with these lights, you'll be able to use these grounds late in the evenings and early in the morning in a relative safety and with peace of minds.
The Member of Parliament for the area called on the residents to maximize the use of the space as she highlighted the various sporting groups of the area.
I want to encourage especially the constituents and the residents of the Waterloo community to make full use of this ground. And I'm also calling on the other groups throughout the constituency of Couva North to liaise with the management body of for this ground and come up with very proactive and positive activities which can enhance family life and find an avenue, especially for our young people, to be positively engaged in. I know that this Couva North constituency is a very sporting, athletic community. We have a lot of cricketers, we have a lot of footballers, we have the Waterloo Soccer Club. They are very, very active. We have the Brickfield cricketers, the Waterloo cricketers, the Orangefield cricketers, the Macbean cricketers. So we have a lot of sporting activities in this area.
The illumination of the Mulchan Suchan Recreation Ground came at a total cost of $945,357, which the Ministry of Public Utilities has funded. The installation of the lights has come at the middle of the July-August vacation, a perfect time for the youths of the area to make the best of the community investment. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Residents of East Port of Spain will benefit from a community-based project which is aimed at building community participation and providing a viable means of entertainment that will diminish criminal involvement. The East Port of Spain Development Company Limited has partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago Film Company to bring community cinema nights to communities throughout East Port of Spain. The community cinema nights would involve the screening of movies at public venues during evening hours at no cost to the viewing audience and would be open to all members of the community. The first community that has been identified to host the movie initiative is Upper Laventille on Saturday, July 27th at 5:30 p.m. For more information on such and future venues and times, contact the East Port of Spain Development Company Limited at 623-6007. And that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.